Good evening. A city council member is bringing forward a new motion concerning the advertising around vaping. When can we see change going into effect for the city and the federal government? The group End Poverty Edmonton is kicking off a new initiative that's aimed at reducing and ultimately eliminating poverty around Alberta and our city. The event had students celebrating all across NAIT to show their pride and support. The Edmonton skyline around the Ice District is getting a facelift, as an eyesore for many is in the process of being brought down. NAIT students have gone on to do all kinds of important and diverse work after graduation. According to counselors, NAIT is experiencing more students than ever coming forward about their mental health. Bell Let's Talk Day may be a huge contributor as to why the walls are slowly coming down on the stigma surrounding mental health. After being such a dominant force throughout the regular season, our NAIT Ooks women's hockey team is gearing up for the playoffs. Well, here's hoping that you have a quick recovery, Evan. Thank you. Coming up after the break, we went to Belrose Composite High School for the 16th annual Bike-a-thon. It's almost been a year since the tragic Humboldt Broncos bus crash, claiming the lives of 16 Broncos players. One of those players was goaltender Parker Tobin. Before playing for Humboldt, Parker played here at the Grant Fuhr Arena for the Spruce Grove Saints. After a year of reflection, Parker's parents, Rhonda and Ed Tobin, are ready to tell their story.
Women were a major part of the war, even though they're not necessarily the part we remember.
The World War Women exhibit is a traveling exhibition from the Canadian War Museum in Ottawa that looks at all the ways women aided the Allies in both World Wars.
It's important to realize that women also played a large role, both in keeping the home front alive and going and making food and getting things made in factories, so typically men's jobs, and as well women also participated in the fight overseas themselves.
The exhibit inspires women on looking back at what they experienced and overcame.
I find it both inspiring and humbling and also very empowering that, women can do anything. They were faced with the wars, they were faced with their sons, their husbands going off to war, not knowing if they would ever see them again. They found new ways to run their homes and raise their families.
History of the women's involvement is brought to life through the use of artifacts and images at the exhibit. The items jog memories of the past.
I've personally wandered through and had maybe some older citizens tell me about things they remember personally, about like war stamps and war bonds and collecting it themselves, and they didn't remember until they saw it here in the exhibit. So it does have a lot of personal reminders.
The exhibit encourages family members to bring up their past experiences.
Some people might not know that maybe their grandmas or great-grandmas were a part of the war in some way. So I think that's a chance for people to look at their own history and their own legacy of their grandparents and ask them questions if they're of their memories of the wars and of their parents and their grandparents' memories.
The World War Women exhibit is open until September 30th. Teagan Giselbrecht, Primetime Local News.